certainly consider that as part of regular curriculum.
Well, and when you stop and think about it, here's the deal: is it what works for these animals and the obligations and the care that they need are also strikingly similar to what other human beings need from time to time. Just somebody to pay attention to them and feed them when they're hungry and take care of them when they're sick. The Democratic Party is having elections coming up in the next bunch of about 3 or 4 weeks away from now. The Democratic Party of Guam announced the party election. They're looking for chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, national committee man, national committee woman, and district representatives. So are you running for any of those positions?
I don't think so. But, in politics, you never say never.
Right. Well, Auntie Narissa. Wasn't Auntie Narissa a committee woman?
Yeah, no, she was vice chair.
Vice chair.
With Rory was chair. So they called each other partner for a while. That's kind of, I don't know where that is now.
758. I just think it's a great idea. And one of the reasons why I'm so in love with this is because anybody can sign. You can same day register to become a member of the Democratic Party on Guam. So I'm urging all of my Republican friends to get liquored up in the morning and then go sign up and vote for the absolute weakest and dumbest members of the Democratic Party for all of those positions.
Yeah, and you would know who those people are. How come the Republicans don't do the same thing?
I don't know why the Republicans don't do the same thing, and that is a great question, and I am ashamed of, as the representative of the Republican branch of the Underwood family, to go, why don't the Republicans have something like this? I mean, faceless, nameless guys in a room, and they're the ones that determine who the Republicans here nominate.
Someone told me and swore me to secrecy 2 days ago that they are now going to run the Republican Party. And I said, really? How does that work? Who selected you?
There's no election for that kind of thing. It's just, I don't know.
No, just a bunch of guys who graduated from Father Dwayne together.
And on that note, I think that was a suitable time to segue into the Fox News. Uncle Robert, I want you to have a great weekend, all right?
Okay, you too.
Hug and a kiss to Auntie Narissa. Love you, Unc. I'll see you later. 7:59 and change. The radio station is KUSG. Again, you stand by. 93.3 is The Point.
Controversy over a phone call. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A complaint to the intelligence community alleging President Trump made an unspecified promise to a foreign leader triggered a showdown with members of Congress. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
The House Intelligence Committee has been made aware of a whistleblower's complaint made to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. But committee chairman, Democrat Adam Schiff, says the contents of that complaint are not being turned over to Congress.
I don't know whether the White House isn't directly involved because we can't get an answer to that question, but we do know that they are making some claim that a privilege may apply.
Schiff accuses the administration of violating the law. The chairman says he cannot confirm a report published in the Washington Post that complaint concerns a promise President Trump made to a foreign leader during a phone call. Lisa.
Jared, a federal judge siding with the Trump campaign's request to stop a California law aimed at forcing the president to release his tax returns. In New York, the president has filed a lawsuit looking to block the Manhattan district attorney from gaining access to those returns. Charges filed against a New Jersey man who authorities say was plotting attacks on U.S. cities. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, federal prosecutors say Alexei Saab of Morristown faces 9 counts, including supporting a terrorist group and getting military training from a terror group. Investigators say Saab gathered information and logistics on targets in New York City, focusing on structural weakness and vulnerability at locations such as the Statue of Liberty and Times Square. They say he sent the information to contacts in Lebanon for planning purposes. Saab was originally arrested in July and remains in custody ahead of trial, where a conviction could mean decades in prison. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Wall Street at the close. The Dow fell 52 points. America is listening to Fox News.
at the mall as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment. You could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Hulu is all your TV in one place, plus more. Watch thousands of hit shows, movies, and award-winning Hulu originals for only $5.99 per month. It's TV without the cable contract and the freedom of on-demand streaming. Get current network shows from ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and binge-watch every season of your favorite cable shows. Premium Hulu viewing is brought to you by Proline Automotive and AB Sports, Guam's store for Nike. To advertise on Hulu, call Choice Digital at 989-0042.
Federal charges against a high-level donor to the Democratic Party in connection with an overdose death at his home. Fox's Steve Rappaport has this live.
Lisa, prosecutors charged Ed Buck with distributing methamphetamine resulting in the 2017 death of Jamel Moore. He overdosed at the home in 2017. Another man died at Buck's home in January. State prosecutors charged Buck this week with causing the overdose of a man who managed to escape. But L.A. County District Attorney Jackie Lacey says they didn't have sufficient evidence to hold Buck responsible for Moore's death.
We arrived at the conclusion that there were more options under federal law that can carry a lengthier prison sentence.
Authorities say Buck manipulated men into participating in sexual fetishes that involved injecting them with meth. Lisa?
Steve, heavy rainfall from the remnants of Tropical Storm Imelda battering the Houston area. Mayor Sylvester Turner with a warning.
It doesn't make any sense for everybody to get on the road and be stuck on the road or in a lot of water or trapped on a feeder on a side street. You're still going to be there and unsafe.
Officials in Harris County say there have been more than 1,000 rescues and evacuations due to the rising waters. Governor Greg Abbott has declared 13 counties disaster areas. A top official with the United Auto Workers reporting some unresolved issues as the strike against General Motors reaches day 4. Bargaining is expected to continue through the weekend. A former New Jersey prosecutor portrayed by Russell Crowe in the film American Gangster is sentenced to 5 years probation after pleading guilty to stealing from his law clients. Richard Roberts' involvement in prosecuting Harlem drug kingpin Frank Lucas in the 1970s was portrayed in the 2007 film, also starring Denzel Washington. Roberts had been on trial in July when he pled guilty to perjury and theft charges. He acknowledged having taken $20,000 in client funds from his law firm's attorney trust account. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
30 years ago, the very first Subway restaurant opened in Guam. Now, 15 restaurants later, Subway Restaurants is celebrating this milestone with a buy one, get one free offer every weekend, starting September 14th through October 12th. Come celebrate 30 years. Enjoy your favorite sandwich, salad, or wrap, all made with freshly sliced veggies and bread baked in every store. Take advantage of this buy one, get one deal. It's Subway Restaurants' way of saying thank you, Guam, for 30 wonderful years. Subway, make it what you want.
Save big. Save really big when you bundle up your insurance policies with Nanbo Insurance. Insure your home, auto, motorcycle, or business with Nanbo and enjoy great savings, up to 50%. When it comes to insuring your property, no one knows better than the company with over 50 years of service to the community. Don't compromise the things that matter to you most. Call Nanbo today at 477-9754 or visit nanbo.com for more information. Nanbo Insurance, serving you since 1968.
Everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird.
Circle K has a 3-pound rotisserie chicken, now available for the introductory price of $9.99. It's the biggest, tastiest, and most affordable rotisserie chicken of its kind on island. Save even more by getting a family meal with 2 sides and a bottle of wine for only $25.99. The Circle K rotisserie chicken. Get yours today. Circle K. Take it easy.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Test results on 2 of the latest suspected cases of dengue fever have come back negative. Still, island residents are advised to remain on high alert. Efforts continue to contain the disease following this past week's confirmation that at least 2 other people have come down with the disease locally. Guam Public Health continues to encourage residents to clear any containers from their property that collect water and serve as a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Dengue fever is spread by mosquitoes and cannot be transmitted from one person to another. The spraying of insecticide to kill mosquitoes continues in areas of Manilao and Dededo, where the 2 individuals who have come down with the disease live. Health officials say that until this month, there had not been any locally transmitted cases of dengue fever in the past 75 years. Meanwhile, up in Saipan, 2 imported cases of dengue have been reported, and similar containment efforts have been launched by health officials there. Guam-based Black Construction Corporation has been awarded a $178 million contract to build housing on Andersen Air Force Base. The work requires the construction of reinforced concrete duplex buildings and typhoon shelters to replace an equivalent number of existing duplexes on base. The units will be built of reinforced concrete, including concrete walls and concrete sloped roofs designed to withstand typhoon-force winds of up to 170 miles an hour. The work expected to be completed by June 2022. The contract was awarded by Naval Facilities Engineering Command Pacific in Hawaii. Black was chosen from among 5 companies that submitted bids to the Navy's electronic commerce website. We'll have more news after this.
Show your island pride through environmental stewardship by participating in Guam's 2019 International Coastal Cleanup event starting 7 a.m. this Saturday, September 21st. With over 24 cleanup sites island-wide, anyone can help. Wear mosquito repellent, comfortable shoes, and a hat. Trash bags and gloves are provided. Free event t-shirts while supplies last. For more details, visit the Guam Coastal Management Program on Facebook or call 475-9647. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the Bureau of Statistics and Plans.
IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all-natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Why am I running? Because IHOP now has buttermilk crispy chicken made with all-natural chicken breast and a signature blend of seasonings. Whoa! We're talking chicken sandwiches, chicken and waffles, even chicken and pancakes. Move it, Gray Van! IHOP has crispy chicken!
Run in to try IHOP's new buttermilk crispy chicken strips and pancakes for just $6.99. For a limited time, price and participating restaurants may vary.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Not a word was heard last night from any member of the Guam Election Commission about the complaint filed against Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas by his former chief of staff, John Paul Manuel. With a nod to the presence of the island's media, Commissioner Patrick Seville cited the Guam Code, which says that once the commission receives a complaint, they're required to keep the proceedings confidential. He said if folks came here expecting a comment, that would be premature. GEC legal counsel Vince Camacho concurred. At the start of this month, Manuel filed a complaint with the GEC alleging his former boss was having an affair with a woman who he later hired as a congressional staffer. He also accused San Nicolas of using campaign funds to pay personal expenses as well as forging his father's signature on campaign checks. San Nicolas has responded by saying the allegations made by his former staffer have no basis in fact. However, none of that was discussed at last night's meeting. After the meeting, GEC legal counsel Camacho said he could not discuss campaign finance complaints because they must be kept confidential by law, and there's no timeline provided in the law for finishing a review of a complaint, so he couldn't even say when it would be completed. Mayor Rudy Montanani hosted fellow mayors and other GovGuam officials at his GIGO office yesterday to discuss the ongoing problems caused by stray dogs and the need for new legislation to deal with the problem. Territorial veterinarian Tom Poole said he's been working on a draft bill with members of the legislature and Guam Animals in Need that would require pet owners to license their pets and have microchips embedded in their animals. The measure also details the requirement for spading and neutering pets to help curb the stray dog population. Poole said that that is the only thing that will solve the problem in the long run. Senator Sabina Perez was also in attendance, and she said she supports the legislation. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at our weather.
Yes, I'm taking a look at the procedures on complaints over at the Guam Election Commission, and just on a lark, I did send Mike a question earlier. Congressman Mike Nicholas, a question a little bit earlier this morning as to whether or not he's received the complaint from the Guam Election Commission. They informed us, he says, a complaint was filed and provided a copy, but that's all, and we aren't commenting at this time. And he can, at his request, unveil all of this. If I'm reading the law correctly, he can go back to the Election Commission and say, no, we don't have to maintain any confidentiality on that.
Ask him if he will.
I'm thinking about it. The question I asked him, have you responded yet to the Guam Election Commission? I don't have an answer on that particular question. 8:12 in the morning, 888-8255. I tell you, I know what he's working on in Washington, D.C. It's what him and Khalili are working on, and they're calling it as a man-made disaster. More on that in a second. I've got partly cloudy skies, isolated showers, then thunderstorms, northwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, shifting southerly and southeasterly, becoming lighter this weekend. Daytime highs warm 88, 89 degrees. Overnight lows 77, 79 degrees. You know, whatever is normal for this time of year is what we can expect. Michael Knight now from the Point's Weather Center with a look at what's going on. I need to refresh the radar unless you've already done it.
I haven't done it. It's
All
not
right.
going to show much more because we've just got a few isolated showers out there in a very gentle northerly flow. Looks like for the most part the showers have moved through the northern and central portions. South side, mountains getting some of that rain now, and after that moves through, we're not looking at very much upstream. So again, just kind of hit and miss on the showers right on through the next 2 or 3 days. Actually, the weekend shaping up to be pretty good because there's no major weather systems moving into our direct path. Up to the north of us right now, we've got 90 W Invest. It is going to continue sliding to the west and get on out of here, take the moisture with it. And when it does, that's going to even lower our rain chances further. Again, we're just looking at a very, very slight chance of isolated showers or maybe an occasional thunderstorm right on through Sunday.
All right, and so the good news is if you have been missing the opportunities to hit the beach and get some grill marks, there could be some grill mark opportunities. Bring an umbrella or some other device because, as you say, it's going to be hit or miss with the rains as they may or may not make their way through here. I'm betting on grill marks as early as 10 o'clock tomorrow. As soon as they open the beaches, get out there and do it. 8:15 o'clock in the morning, and that's news and weather together here on The Point.
We understand what matters to you because at Docomo Pacific, we're a family too. With the Now Family program, mom, dad, and kids stay connected on the latest devices the whole family can enjoy. For just $155 a month, get 3 lines with 30 gigs of 4G LTE data each, and endless use of your favorite apps without affecting your monthly data bucket. Add more, get more, save more. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
I hear that. 8:15 o'clock in the morning, portions of the program being brought to you by my friends over at American President Line's global presence with a local home team over at Take Care. In fact, the team is going to be here in the studio this morning about 9 o'clock, so I'll let we'll talk about them a little bit more. It's flu season for a lot of people, maybe myself included, I don't know, and they're encouraging all of their members to get the flu shots. So what I asked for was Rose Greeno's going to be coming in. I was asking maybe if she could give me a flu shot. And they said no. It's something about, I don't know. They were worried, because it's not the hospital, it's not their clinic, and they're a little bit concerned about I don't know, things being sanitary.
Shots
and all
don't
that.
hurt me. It's what they put into you that hurts me. The medicine. The needle doesn't bother me. It's the medicine going in that hurts.
I've never had a problem. I'm fortunate in that I can take a needle just about it. The only time, in fact, we'll just wrap about this for a second. The only time any needle has ever hurt me was a couple of years ago. I was going in for that procedure. I was in Manila at St. Luke's, and I apparently got very, very small veins in my hand, which is where they wanted to put the needle that would give me the anesthesia. And so they kept missing it, and they missed it one time, thought they had it, and then started putting some kind of a fluid in there, it's a saline solution, just
keep you hydrated.
Yeah, hydrate me, and that stuff started leaking in between the vein and my skin in my hand, and it hurt like it was on
burns.
fire.
Yeah,
like it was on fire.
If you want a needle to hurt, man, I suggest getting a tattoo. Come on, man up.
No, I can do that. I've got tattoos. You haven't seen the tattoo I have?
Are you talking about the Tweety Bird?
I very rarely ever show it because it's born to disco, and there's a lot of people that think that might be a little bit dated. 8:16 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show also being brought to you by my friends over at Security Title. If you require confidentiality in your real estate transactions, take everything through Security Title. They know how to keep a secret. And if you want it spicy this weekend, swing by Wendy's. Bacon Fest going on over at Wendy's is lovely. And they've got, believe it or not, they've got something that I want you to share with somebody that you love. It's the... That's right, share the bacon jalapeno fries that they've got there, and they can even double down on the spicy with a fantastic jalapeno sauce that goes on that. So try that sometime soon at your Wendy's.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
I don't know if I can. They gotta make it easier for me to be able to log into my pick'ems because I've got it, but I don't have it in front of me.
You didn't get the phone app then.
Yeah, I don't. Is it working? I was going to ask you how that works.
Okay, I'm gonna go to my desk and get my computer. Okay. So you guys talk about sports.
Okay,
we'll chat just a little bit because
with Kevin.
Yeah, and I guess I'll do the honors. Time for Sports with Blake.
Ray's not here. We can just ask people to call in, right?
Right, yeah.
Light them up. Here we go.
Well, Bill, and actually, this is a good time to go ahead and call in and talk a little bit with us because, we got the NFL Pick'ems going on here today. And I am just the man of many music.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the production.
The flow, man.
Yeah, the production. Drops is what we call them in the business.
That's right.
Well, first of all, before we get into Ray and all of our picks, did you think it was easy? Was it pretty? There's some easy games. The New England game, obviously, the Dallas game, they're getting historical lines. I think New England is favored by 23, Dallas by 21, which are the two biggest favored, points given ever. And I know that we'll get to that, but we can start. You can start with the first game.
There's really only one game that was a challenge for me, and that is the game we're going to have today.
The Titans game?
Yeah, because it's a divisional game. It's in Jacksonville. Now, Tennessee, really clearly the better team out of the two, but it's in Jacksonville, and based on the way Jacksonville played defense last week, I just think they're going to hamstring Tennessee. I went with Jacksonville. They're my wild card pick this week. All the other picks I went with the crowd.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at the same thing. There's a lot of games that seem to, you look at the crowd and you can see them all kind of lopsided. Now, that's not to say that the crowd is always right. I want to say when I took a look at the first week numbers, second week numbers, the crowd was off like by call it 10%, something like that. Yeah,
right.
just a large enough number. So don't always go with the crowd. Now, there's a story in one of the newspapers that I think is going to make a big difference, and that is we've got there's a couple of quarterbacks that aren't playing right now. Somebody's got a thumb injury, and the other guy's out for a year.
For the year, if not forever, just because of his age. It's big. We're talking about Big Ben because it's going to take surgery. It's season-ending surgery. It's an elbow thing. It's non-contact. It's on his throwing hand. He's 35, 36 or something. So we'll see if he comes back. And then I've also got when we get to it, I'll also give you the note on another quarterback that is out, but not due to injury.
Oh.
So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the game. But so you got did you run? So you got Jacksonville.
Yeah. So today's game, I'm taking the Jaguars.
That's who I'm taking.
Yeah.
I think Minshew. I think Minshew. Is. I was waiting for that. I think he's. I think they're poised. They haven't won yet, so I think that they. I think this is the week that they do it.
All right. So I'm officially switching over from Tennessee to Jacksonville.
That's cool. If you want. Yeah. These are to be the long and short of it is these are two really bad teams that are going to play a really bad game today in Jacksonville. And I just think, just the way the things even out in the AFC South, Jacksonville will probably win.
All right, Keena, that's your answer, because Keena's asking on Blaine, Titans or Jaguars, so we're all three of us going for Jacksonville.
Yes.
All right, next set of games that we can talk. Did we already do the Sports with Blake noise?
We did, yeah. We did
I missed all that.
Yeah.
Crap. All right. So you're sticking with Tennessee? All right, well, 55% of the online guys say it's going to be Tennessee. All right, I like the Bills over Cincinnati.
Me too.
Yeah, I got them. The Bills have convinced me, and especially against a crappy team like the Bengals.
Yeah.
So, yep, got
well,
Bills.
we need to win. Renee's birthday was this week.
Really?
Yeah, Renee Logie's birthday was this week, so we're looking for a third Buffalo win.
Too many of you September birthdays. I'm going to throw that out there.
RD's birthday.
Too many September birthdays. My sister's 9/11, so only because I can't get them all straight. I forget the days. I know people's birthdays in September, but I don't know the date. Because there's so many.
Eddie Cruz says, "Go Cowboys!" I got Dallas for the win.
Again, we just talked about it. They have the second historical line ever given to a team, as they are favored by 21.5 points, or just 21.
I haven't
Either
seen
way.
that line. Yeah, and of course it's easy Cowboys because Miami sucks.
I will say this though, interesting note. So we did release our first round pick from a couple years ago, Taco Charlton, defensive line. Guess who picked them up? Miami. So he'll probably get a sack on Dak just because he's coming from the Cowboys as we speak to go play for the team that they're playing, so he knows a little bit of the plays.
All right, Green Bay decisively, according to the pick distribution, Green Bay is 97%. Everybody's picking Green Bay to beat the Broncos over the weekend.
And that's 2-0 versus 0-2. Green Bay hadn't been easy, but they're undefeated. Broncos haven't won. I'm going to stick with the Packers.
Going with the Pack.
I like Atlanta.
Yep, absolutely. Atlanta's good. The
Better
Colts,
team.
Yeah, the Colts are just not really good. So.
Yeah, and they're both a dome team. That's going to be in Indy, and that's a dome, so the field's not really going to matter.
Falcons have Matt Ryan, and he's always
And
good
Julio.
for a 300-yard game every now and then. So this might be it.
All right, so we go from there into the Chiefs game. Everybody likes the Chiefs over Baltimore.
This might be the best game to watch. It's going to be really exciting because that Baltimore offense is really exciting, and Kansas City is Kansas City. But it's in KC, and Lamar Jackson's still young, so give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got Mahomes with their record-setting quarterback, Pat Mahomes. He's just on fire.
Cover a Madden.
Everybody like Minnesota over Oakland?
Skull Vikings.
Absolutely.
Patriots over New York, of course.
Not only did I pick that, they have 23 points favored. Not only did I do that, but down in just a little FYI, peel back the curtain, gang. My tiebreaker 2, who will score the fewest points this week? Instead of going with Miami, I went Jets.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, so I picked the Jets to score the fewest points this week.
The Patriots have only given up. They've only given up 3 points all year in 2 games. So that could
They're
be
pretty
a
good.
safe bet.
All right, Philly over Detroit, no-brainer.
Yeah, Philly.
I wouldn't say no-brainer, but I think Philly's got it. But neither one of these teams are particularly good at this point. The Lions may actually be the better team, but it's in Philly, and that's a hostile place to play.
All right, Carolina Panthers over Arizona. I think the football gods are going to give Cam a break this weekend.
So he's also out. Just FYI, everybody.
Really?
Yeah, so Cam's not playing this week.
That seals the deal for me.
Yeah, Cam's not playing. I picked the Cardinals anyway. I think Kyler Murray gets his first win as an NFL quarterback, especially with no Cam. Give me the Cardinals.
Kyler Murray's showing a lot of character, especially in the fourth quarter. So he's done.
Are you switching over?
Cam's out
really well.
Cam's out.
Yeah, I'm taking Cardinals.
What team?
I was
Carolina.
looking at the Panthers versus Arizona.
I don't know.
I think it actually went down. Now that Cam's out, it was switched. It was 57 Carolina, 43 Arizona, but now Cam's out. It's 43 Carolina, 57 Arizona. Ish. There you go. I know it's hard to pick against them.
Yeah, but I'm going to. That's the option. I'm taking the option here. I'm going to switch, but I'm going to remember I switched. If Carolina wins, I'm going to smack you in the mouth. I got Tampa Bay over the Giants.
You know what? I changed this one as we were speaking. This is the other note I have about quarterbacks. Eli is out.
Right.
He is not starting. The Giants are moving on from Eli this week. They are going to give it to their rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones. I don't think Tampa Bay is very good. It's going to be in Tampa Bay, which I'm sure it's going to be fine weather. So give me the Giants for their first win of the week.
Check on Tampa's defense. I got Bucks in this one all the way because the Giants are starting a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
Okay.
Good pick. Bucks are the
still,
smarter pick. I'm just letting you know.
Still 50-50 in my head. All right. We got L.A. against Houston. You're going to go Houston just because, or are you going to go with
I
LA?
never go just because. I pick to win. I got to go Chargers. Chargers are a better team.
All right. That's what I got.
Picked Houston.
Dave Torrey says Niners for life. I got Niners over Pittsburgh.
I got Niners over Pittsburgh as well.
Yep, same here.
All right, Seattle over New Orleans.
Yep. Yes.
Only because there's no Breeze, and these guys, they have a showdown, every time they play.
And not only is there no Breeze, the Saints are not naming one starting quarterback. They're going by committee, so it's going to be Taysom Hill and Bridgewater both sharing the snaps.
That's exactly what Keno was saying. Drew Brees is out for 6 weeks.
Yep.
All right, so we got the Rams versus Cleveland.
Give me the Rams over the Browns. Yeah.
All over Cleveland. All over the Rams on that one.
And last game, Monday night game is going to be Chicago and Washington.
I'm taking taking the Bears.
Yes, I think everybody else is as well.
Easy
So that's where we are. Click save on your pick'ems. I made the mistake of going through all 16 games and then switched to something else. And when I came back, I had to repick everything. So click the save button on that. And because there are so many people playing, you may also want to go down to the tiebreakers and take some chances on that. Predicting the score on the Chicago-Washington games, the Rams and Cleveland games, and then the tiebreaker number 2, who will score the most points and who will score the fewest points. Just come up with an answer, and we'll see what the gods of football have to say.
I think I said 27-10 is what I guess for the Bears-Redskins game.
There you go. And keep in mind, that's what allowed Telltale to win the weekly prize last week.
It was from a tiebreaker.
Get those tiebreakers and do your best. Don't just throw something in there.
8:27 in the morning, and Nate Horn has also got some car wash packs from Napa that he's going to be giving up. So I think maybe we'll make that one of the prizes for week number 3 is the gizmos from Nate and the guys over at Napa. Really appreciate. Hey, listen, if you're a business and you've got some swag that you want to give away, and have us mention the name of your company and maybe put a couple of logos up for you, be happy to do that. Just bring it by the radio station and say this is for the football pick'ems deal. We're way early still in the football season, so there's plenty of opportunities for you to get some free plugs for your business. 8:27 in the morning. Sports with Blake continues for a couple more minutes. Is there? I'd love to be able to tell you that Miami's got a game tonight, but they got a bye.
They do have a bye. So Academy, the mighty Cougars of Academy, are off this evening. However, girls volleyball will commence elsewhere around the island as Ukuru will take on Guam Adventist Academy. Remember, that is only a JV squad, I believe, Guam Adventist. So once that's over and it tips off at 5:30, it'll be done. No varsity there. Notre Dame will fly over to Tiedzen as they'll face the Tiedzen Titans. JFK will take on the Sanchez Sharks up at Sanchez. St. Paul going over to Harvest to face off against the Lady Eagles. Southern, in a good old-fashioned matchup against GW, will go up to the haunted GW Gymnasium with that corrugated ceiling and all to face off against the Geckos. Guam High will see action against the Red Hot Lady Knights of St. John, and that's pretty much it, how it's going to round out. Football. Got football. JFK will take on GW at GW Field tonight.
Hey, it's homecoming for GW.
There you go. Are you doing...
she never got back to me on being being a homecoming date.
I heard somebody was looking for me.
And who would want to go out with me? I'm sick as a dog.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to give your sickness to anybody.
Yeah, I don't want to give the sickness to anybody. But, it's if we can turn it into the homecoming date, into let me just take care of Ray while he takes his rest on the couch and moans like a little girl every time he sneezes and all of that.
Think there'll be soup out there tonight if it rains?
There's definitely soup.
Some corn soup, some arroz caldo.
This is where my head's at today. Because I've been also playing around with the idea. I need to get a pressure cooker, and I need to go and buy me some nice beef shanky things and throw some vegetables in there with some bouillon and make my own version of kudu for the weekend. I think that will make me. So I thought I thought I'd go running with my friends last night to sweat out the sickness.
Didn't work.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely no. Never works that way.
Not even in a little bit. Not even a little bit. But speaking of going on dates and stuff like that, quick question here is what is a man's top turn off? Have you seen this? There's a new survey.
Can I guess? Rudeness.
What's that?
Rudeness?
Rudeness. Yeah. You know what? I would agree with that. I don't know where it falls in this particular survey.
But it's not number one.
But yeah, it's one of the things. You go on a date with somebody, man or woman, look out for this. How they treat the people at the wait staff at the restaurant. Always check on how they treat people that are going to be serving you. Are they treating them like they're the boss of them? Like, you owe me a living or something like that. If they treat them
down
nice,
to them,
chances are. And listen to how they talk about their parents, because this is supposed to be the people that they just unconditional love for them, and they go, oh, my dad's a jerk, God, I hate my mom. Imagine how they'll feel about you in 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the survey, guys are not fans of women with false eyelashes.
Yeah, I'm not. I got it, and I will tell you this:
major trend.
Working in media and hosting a lot of pageants, I've seen a lot of women put on false lashes, and every time I've seen it, I'm just in my head going, why?
I don't like girls with fake anything.
Yep.
So we got fake eyelashes. Now, does that include the one? Because there's a new thing for eye whiskers that women are doing. So they're not actually applying false eyelashes; they're adding to them. There's a procedure that you can go to where they take eyelashes,
like Fuller.
Yeah, they're adding actual lashes on top of the lashes, and so. You haven't seen that yet.
I think I have seen that. What is the fascination with eyelash? Why do you want full lashes?
Because it keeps the dust out your eyes.
And it's always funny to me that, like, men eyelashes always seem to come in better than women because women are always jealous of men's eyelashes.
And fingernails.
And fingernails, yeah. So strange.
Number one turnoff, according to the survey, is too much makeup.
Yeah.
Too much makeup.
In Texas, they put on makeup. The girls put on makeup in Texas to go to the lake, to go to the beach. I mean, like, they get ready to go to the beach.
And with a spatula, I've seen.
Oh,
yeah. Just back on there. So we're not saying that we're totally against all of these things, but everything in moderation.
Yes, especially makeup.
Except beer.
And except beer. I agree with that. At 8:32 in the morning, and feel free, ladies, to dish on things that are your turnoffs for
man
guys.
bun.
Yeah.
Man bun.
Some girls like the man bun thing.
Some do.
Yeah.
Beards, yeah.
You think it's a big turnoff?
Beards are hit or miss. I mean, they either love them or they hate them.
Let me tell you something. Mrs. Sports is about had it. Almost every day. All of it. She's like, we're about done with this. We're about close to wrapping this up. You've done it, right? We're good.
Do we need to talk? Do we need to have this conversation? What do you want to do? You want counseling here, right?
No, yeah, I'm good.
You got three guys here. So Blake Watson has spent the better part of the last 2 years nurturing this beard, growing his hair. When he first started here, we'll find a picture one of these days of the first picture we took of Blake. The first publicity shot that we took of Blake. He looked like he just got discharged from the Navy. He had this little high and tight haircut.
Well, there's one of me,
clean shaven. Right, and the second we handed him his choice broadcasting badge, he stopped shaving. I'm just happy he still bathes, but he stopped shaving and he grew his hair. The only thing he goes, and the crazy thing is, we have the same hairdresser, right? Ashley Haircut, I call her. Ashley from over at Rosie Rouge. She takes care of both of us. I see her. I'm like, what do you do with Blake? I don't see. He still looks like he's homeless, but so. Yeah, there's an old picture of I don't know if we're going to be able to show it to everybody.
Go creep on my Facebook, everybody that's my friend.
Yeah.
There's a picture of me and Muggsy Bogues, like one of my last pictures of being hairless. That was probably a week later is when I started here.
That's when you were on TV.
Yeah, so it's all right. So fellow guys here. I mean, if Mrs. Sports is complaining, what kind of advice should we give Blake? Should he stand on his rock, continue to grow the beard out and the man bun and all of that stuff, or is domestic tranquility more important?
I'll tell you this. That means I'm doing something right. If she's complaining, I got to think that I'm on the right track.
Why not shave it all off and start all over again?
All over again.
Sure.
And there's guys that do that every September.
For locks of
beard.
for locks of love, or St. Baldrick's too. They do that for St. Baldrick's. So
I've done St. Baldrick's a couple of times, and
that's in March, I think. Right?
I'm not interested in doing it again. They say I can pull off the bald look, but I don't want to have to pull off anything.
I've been told that too, and I've done it, but I don't. Yeah, I'm
Sandra
like
DeLeon. Sandra DeLeon. She tunes in every day for the man bun. So then, if you wear your hair differently, she gets mad. Big Sister Shelley's there. Keith Dixon's online. Let me go through a couple of these. Dave Torrey's talking about false advertising. Let me see. Richard Wittenbach Santos is online. I haven't said that name out loud in a long time. Christina Nicole and Catherine Manlapis is there. May Relay. Big Eddie Cruz is hanging out. Ken LG has got a couple of things that he's ranting about already this morning. Sandy Uslander up in San Diego, California, getting ready for the massive FIFA weekend going on.
Yeah, I've seen that everywhere, and I've seen that there's some exclusive Guam gear. So if you're going to be there, get some swag.
Yes. Oh, they're because the hat companies and stuff. They sell things in San Diego that they only sell in San Diego.
They only sell. Yeah.
So
I think it was actually
$50
Master Random Boo Atta was posting his Instagram story. Go see the boys. They got some cool hats this weekend.
8:35 in the morning, and that's all the time we got to pretend to talk about sports. Blake's going to go finish the morning show over on Star 101. You can join if you want to hear some cool tunes. Otherwise, Kevin Kerrigan's got all the big stories and headlines coming up next.
Are you ready for some football? The Ray Gibson Show has got your NFL fix every Friday on Sports with Blake. Get the latest updates as Blake and Mike break down the upcoming action. Get your game on with the boys on the hotline, 888-TALK, or sound off on Facebook Live at thepoint.gu. League members get a chance to win some awesome prizes that get you through the NFL season. The NFL Picks on the Ray Gibson Show is brought to you by Current Guam with special thanks to GTA.
I got an hour hour and 24 minutes away from my weekend. And normally I stick around for a couple hours and do some office work and things like that. But I think I probably need to take some advice. Chris Chip online that suggested that I start my weekend by crawling into a bottle of tequila and should be done with this cold by Monday. Or just won't care one way or the other.
Yeah, you'll be done with your cold and personal relationships of some sort and many other things by then.
It's 8:36 in the morning and time for our last look at headlines for the week from Kevin Kerrigan in the Guam Daily Post.
Have a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Guam-based Black Construction Corporation has been awarded a $178 million contract to build housing at Andersen Air Force Base. The work requires the construction of reinforced concrete duplex buildings and typhoon shelters to replace an equivalent number of existing duplexes on base. The units will be built on reinforced concrete foundations with concrete walls and concrete sloped roofs designed to withstand typhoon force winds up to 170 miles an hour. The job is expected to be completed by June 2022. The contract was awarded by Naval Facilities Engineering Command Pacific in Hawaii. The Port Authority of Guam has received final approval to begin work on the long-delayed Hotel Wharf Rehabilitation Project. During a Port Authority board meeting yesterday, General Manager Rory Respicio announced the port has received a notice to proceed. The port can now tap into the $10 million Tiger grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, which is funding the project. It means it's meant to pave the way for a cruise ship industry by constructing a wharf durable enough to accommodate cruise liners and the facilities that are needed to handle incoming cruise ship passengers. Respicio said he expects ground to be broken in January, although the date has not yet been set. It's expected to take about 2 years to complete. The 25th Annual Guam International Coastal Cleanup gets underway tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. at various beach locations around the island. Guam is joining over 122 countries in this worldwide event to stop trash, especially plastic products, from littering our beaches and entering our oceans. The Coastal Cleanup is organized by Guam's Bureau of Statistics and Plans in coordination with the Ocean Conservancy. Members of the community are invited to come out and help with the effort. You can find a list of the gathering places on the Guam Daily Post website at postguam.com. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think I can do that. And I've been asked by the guys over at iConnect to mention this along with the time checks. It's 8:39, and iConnect has a tax refund promo. Starts today, goes until the end of September. Here's how it works. A free phone and a free 1 month of subscription with your qualified minimum 1 year sign-up. Find Alex or call 888-8888 for details on the iConnect tax refund promo.
GRMC's Neuroscience and Neurology Department treats a wide spectrum of disorders associated with the nervous system, spine, and brain. Some of the more common disorders include seizures, epilepsy, dementia, sleep disorders, migraine, and stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC's neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and the finest neurological doctors. To make an appointment, contact GRMC Specialty Clinics at 645-5500.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by my friends over at Mescla, and they got something that you've got to try. I actually showed the video, or the picture of the video. I showed pictures of this yesterday, and everybody online said, yeah, that actually looks really, really good. Can I get some more of that? Here is the special, there it is, that I can stick on the screen so that you can see it on the Facebook Live. Mescla's got these succulent parrotfish fillets. It's crusted with a shrimp farce, basically shrimp hash. Then that's twice cooked, served over basil-laced sweet potato croquette and a crab and corn bisque sauce that you can see in the bottom of the picture, just sitting in that bath of the bisque. Visit Mescla, if that looks tasty. Visit Mescla in Agana and now in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Make reservations. Those are suggested 969-2652.
Dude, you're drooling all over the
I'm
coffee.
sorry. You know, it looks that good, right? Being asked what my favorite tequila is, huh? I've had mezcal, but I've never gotten to the point where, because it's never been my bottle. I've never gotten to the point where I've eaten the worm. I'd like to. Is it true that if you eat the worm, then you go into some cool kind of hypnotic trance?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. My favorite tequila is the one that everyone else is drinking.
The one, yeah. If somebody's buying it, that's my favorite. Also a fan of the clearer ones. It was something else that my dad taught me years ago. Is if you got to drink spirits, then drink the clearer spirits, because there's less of that stuff that's going to get caught in your head and makes the hangovers better. Pop was always. Did I ever tell you? I traveled once with my old man. We'll get to the traffic in a second, but it was one of my favorite dad stories. It was back in the old days on the airplanes where they'd charge you for drinks.
Right.
All right. And they'll still charge you for drinks now. So we would fly, and he said, don't ever get on the airplane unless you've got a flask of vodka. And I said, why? And so we're sitting in the back of the airplane, and he calls the flight attendant over and said, we'd like 2 orange juice, please. And a lady comes over with 2 orange juice, which turned into screwdrivers a couple of minutes later. I said, aha, that's the way that's done. Because we're manly men, but a little bit of fear of flying, right? 8:42 in the morning. Something about traffic. There's usually not that much traffic going at this time of day, but considering that we might be talking about the second string traffic, maybe a little bit more buildup with it being payday Friday. Anticipate now. It's just intersections right now that are going to slow you down. I don't see any major accidents or any big blockages any place. It's just a lot of cars on the road right now because it's second string traffic. Should clear up before too much longer. 8:43 right now. Traffic on the point.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Mikey Sablon online says, go Bears! And why not? Like I said, interesting to see Richard Wittenbach Santos' name online. So let me throw out another name at you. And I saw, as I was cruising around the Planet Facebook last night, I saw a note from a lady named Annette Donner, and she had written that note, I believe, while she was languishing at the airport in Narita, which is a city in Japan where there's a big airport. And she's on her way, and should be here by now, back on Guam. And I flashed her my telephone number and said, dude, when you get back, you got to come by the radio station. Got to get in the studio. Let me know what you've been up to. She's been hanging out in Israel with the Baha'is or something like that for the last 2 or 3 years. But she is one of the ladies, one of the original, the old school broadcast journalists from a long time ago. She's worked in newsrooms all over the place. We've shared microphones together over the years, and she's become she's a great lover of the history of Guam. And has done a couple of documentaries and things like that. There was a time where they didn't touch anything over on Big Navy without checking with her, because she had a pretty good repository of the history of Sumai in that area, and the history of the post-war history of Naval Base Guam in Sumai. And so she did a whole bunch of that stuff. She's one of a handful of people that when Major General David Bice came out to Guam and they first originally started talking about the buildup, I pointed her out to General Bice and suggested that anything that at the time we called JIGPO, the Joint Guam Program Office, anytime that JIGPO wanted to talk to the community, I say run it by Annette first. Let's see what she's got to say about that, because she had a way of being able to soften up the message sometimes. Anyway, terrific lady, back in town. You might take a look around. Maybe she's going to some of the usual breakfast and lunch haunts, and reach out to her on Facebook and say, let's hook up for lunch or dinner or drinks or whatever. 8:46 in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. And moving into the weekend, and a couple of things that are going to be going on. I told you about the class of '84, and it looks like it's like an everybody reunion. That'll happen here on Guam, ladies and gentlemen, where we just, you know what, we can't get one particular group of people together so let's get everybody together. And that's what it looks like. Says here, could you mention this? The class of 1984 is having a picnic at the Molesso Pier Park Sunday, September 22 of 2019. The event starts at noon, but if you're going to be there putting up tents and canopies and things like that, I think you need to be there around 8 o'clock. There was confusion and debate on postponing to prevent the annihilation of the 84 alumni of GW, Enron High School, GCC, and Simon Sanchez, or continuing as planned. So they decided all as planned is going to go on. So that's what's going to be happening down in the Molesso area. Nice place to get together, class of 1984. And it looks like it's consolidated with all the different schools. I did that once for the class of 1980 and loved it. It was a place called Lights where we had it. It used to be Fernando's. We all got together and did some goofing off at that place. Oh, Naomi Santos is celebrating a birthday. There's a messenger here thing that I need to look at from another friend of mine that is got an event coming up before too much longer. I want to say it's into the next month, but I could be wrong. That's why I want to look up the event and take a look at the flyer. Take Care. Oh, remind me to talk about this when Rose comes in. Take Care presents Save the Susu. And for those of you that are not from around these parts wondering what the susu is breasticles. And the Dance Fitness Breast Cancer Fundraiser is going to be taking place. Yeah, it's a ways away, about a month away from right now. Saturday, October the 19th, 6 until 8 at the Teedson High School Gym. You can purchase your tickets in advance for $10. That gets you a free bottle of water. And if purchased at the door, it'll be $15 for 13 plus $5 for kids 6 to 12. There is a grand prize. I guess they're doing some kind of a raffle. Grand prize is an airplane ride to Asia or Micronesia aboard United Airlines. United Airlines big on cancer prevention and helping cure cancer. So it doesn't surprise me to see United and Take Care in this. Now, my friend Marissa Collins is going to be one of the fitness dance instructors on this. So she's asked me to pretty please help spread the word, so I'm spreading it out just a little bit early. On the table of contents at 8:48 in the morning, what is it that we got? It's Friday, and you know the rule on Fridays is there's no frowny faces on Fridays. That's just the way it is. So there might be a couple of things that you are thinking about this morning and wondering what the latest is. Can I get an update? Lady D earlier asking about what was happening with the tax refund checks. Earlier in the week, we got word that they figured out how much money was coming in on the Section 30, and where $25 million of that is going to go to the first big round of mass tax refund payments. And everybody that is still owed some tax refunds go, yeah, that's great. And they said, we've got the money, it's in the account, and we'll start sending out checks Friday. And you might be wondering if the post office has got the checks. And I have a note here from the lady that runs the post office, and she said, we don't got the checks yet. The mass amount of refunds have not yet been given to the post office, but this is the way it will work. Because it's Guam, and even though it's 11,000, it's not that big a number for when you're talking about the massive work they do at the post office. If they get within a reasonable amount of time the tax refund checks over to the main branch, Guam main facility, should not be too much longer before you get the refunds. They will be able to stuff the boxes today, and so your tax refunds should be there tomorrow. So keep an eye on the guys over at the Guam Daily Post will have something on their website or their app later on, and we'll find out when the checks have been delivered to the post office. But like I said, if they get them in a reasonable amount of time, should be able to have them in your post office box on Saturday. So if you're not one of those guys that generally goes to the PO on a Saturday, if you're expecting a tax refund, I would suggest that you make your way down there tomorrow for a quick trip. Be careful. The parking is ridiculous at the Tamuni parking lot for the post office. So just watch your P's and Q's when you get down there. 10 away from the top of the hour. Interesting conversation I had with Uncle Robert a while ago. We were talking about the Democratic Party of Guam and the big elections that they're going to be having about a month from now. And they're looking for a chairman, a vice chair, secretary, treasurer, national committee man, national committee woman, and district representative. I believe I'm about to speak to a former chairman of the Democratic Party of Guam, Rory Respicio. Good morning, Rory.
Hi, good morning, Ray, I heard that call with Congressman Underwood.
Yeah.
And I just want to let him know that Narissa and I are still partners. Because he said, well, at the time they called each other partners. I don't know where that thing stands now. But, yeah, she was vice chair and I was chair of the Democratic Party at a time where the party could have gone one or two ways, either just eviscerate or rebuild itself. And the passion is still there, has been there, and we wanted to do whatever we can to rebuild and regroup from the ground up. And the Democratic Party is alive and well, and that's what we maintain. And we're having party elections coming up. The current chairperson is Senator Jean Bisco-Lee, and we're also gearing up for next year's Democratic National Convention.
Well, the Democratic National Convention next year, and you think there might be an opportunity to add more Democrats to the 36th Guam legislature?
Well, that's always the goal, right? To get like-minded individuals, but with Democrats, there's no such thing as rubber stampers. And they're all like-minded, but individually minded in terms of we all know where we want to be, where we need to be, but we all have different ideas on how to get there. And that's why the Democratic Party is so dynamic.
Dynamic is an interesting, active, use air quotes around that, dynamic.
And that's part of the public discourse, and that's the way it always ought to be.
Well, I think so. There's a lot of people that distress one way or the other about what seems to be division between Adelup, the legislature, former Congress people, and Mike San Nicolas. So I don't know whether that will contribute to what will feel like a little bit of a rebuilding exercise for the Democratic Party. But I don't know. I think there seems to be a decent unified front among the Democrats, and certainly the results of the last election speak volumes to how I think the Republican Party seems to have lost its way here.
But at the same time, we talk about having a strong majority in the legislature and keeping Governor Liu and Lieutenant Governor Josh Democrats at Adelup, and Congressman Mike Nicholas is Democratic congressional representative. We also talk about the need to go across the party aisle, and sometimes we get things done in a bipartisan way because these very important issues are not specific to any party, but only the need to have all interested parties come together to recognize the dire straits facing the island and what we all need to do to come together to move everybody together so nobody gets left behind. And that's inherent in the Democratic philosophy, Ray.
Well, glad that we've got that cleared up, and that I intend to vote in this upcoming Democratic Party of Guam election, as I have in many years past.
Still a registered Democrat.
I am still a registered, as far as I know, I'm still a registered Democrat. And again, if you can see, there's same-day sign-ups. So like I said, me and the other Republicans, going to get all liquored up and go vote for the weak and dumb ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the kind of games that individuals play to kind of interfere with the Democratic election.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to do that for sure, because I'm still going to run up to the guys at the Republican Party and tell them I want to run with Mary Torres. You can run for governor, and I'll run as lieutenant governor.
You're always ambitious, Ray.
Thank you very much for acknowledging my frisky behavior. That's not why I called. The reason why we got Rory on is it looks like we're finally going to get some work done on Hotel Wharf. And I'm delighted to hear we got some Tiger money that we can put to doing some hardening and on that Hotel Wharf and add to our capabilities to bring in cruise ships.
We are, and I'm happy to report that on the final month of this 3-year journey, we received the notice to proceed yesterday from the Maritime Administration.
Yeah.
Back in February, I was paid a visit by 3 high-level officials from MARID who told me that if we're going to wait till July to submit all the environmental impact assessments and all the documents required, thinking that it gets submitted in July, it's reviewed in August. Come September, when it's time to obligate the funds, MARID told me that if we stayed on that track, that we would not be able to have those funds obligated because the federal government is looking for money anywhere and anywhere it can find it. And so I said, I guess Trump is looking for money to build his wall. And of course, they didn't respond, but I think that was the thinking behind it. So we regrouped here at the port I instructed planning to work diligently with all the other departments and agencies, local and federal. And so instead of submitting the grant documents in July, we committed to submitting them end of April, early May. And so planning worked really hard. Merit came down very, very hard on the port because they said, well, we had 3 years to do this. And so I said, well, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for the delay. I reminded them that we had to wait for this Tiger grant the revenue bond to leverage the Tiger grant. And in keeping with what the feds like to do in bringing all these pots of money together to have some overall objective, which is the port modernization plan, that's why there was a delay. And so thankfully, we in March, we went to visit Merritt, and Chairman Santos was on that trip, and we communicated the corrective action. We told them what we were going to do, and they were very pleased with all that's happened in that 3-week span. And they told us, okay, you guys are back on track. And long story short, yesterday we got the notice to proceed, and that's the $10 million to do the below wharf surface work, and then we have $1 million from the revenue bond to do the fencing and the lighting, and then a $10 million coming from the revenue bond to do the access road.
Understand. So
it's a great undertaking, and we're all excited here at the port because it's not only going to be for the cruise ship to berth there, but also have other kinds of activities like roll on, roll off, break bulk, and so when the main area, the wharves, gets congested, we can divert some of the ships to Hotel Wharf.
It's only called a Hotel Wharf because it's the next letter in the alphabet. If we're doing phonetics, there's Fox
and there's no hotel there.
Yeah, there's no hotel there. It's not specific just for cruise liners. It's also going to be good. It's a great utility spot and always has been, which is why I guess the YTK people wanted it all those years ago, because it was a great utility place, and it could be changed out to adapt to the needs of whoever was the customer there. Big Sister Shelley says, "Bravo, long time coming. Those upgrades and fortifications, especially with the below level the hardware that needs to get taken care of." You said in January they're going to start work. You got a construction company lined up, or you guys need to bid that out?
Right away, we're issuing the RFP for the construction management for Hotel Wharf. Yeah. So this is why our timelines look to like we can break ground sometime early next year, hopefully January. And by all accounts, it should take like a 2-year construction period.
That's a lot of jobs, and $10 million. That $10 million is going to circulate in the economy a couple of times.
More like $23 million just for that area.
Wow.
And then we also have other projects under the port modernization plan. And just on Friday, we submitted a grant application also to Merit to have them pay for 2 gantry cranes. There's a $290 million nationwide port infrastructure grant, and so that was just issued a couple months ago. And again, we worked diligently, worked really hard, and I'm so happy with our planning division.
Well, it's good. Yeah, it's good that you got writers. Let me just see if I can underscore that. So there's money available for new gantry cranes, which the port definitely needs.
Yeah, well, actually, it's for port infrastructure, and included in that grant is equipment, and which is we're making the argument that we need to gantry cranes.
I tell you what, Rory, I'm just about out of time for this hour here. We'll get caught up with you Monday. I'll get some clarification on that, okay? Because that's a big story.
Thanks a lot, Ray.
Hey, no problem, Ray. Have a good weekend. It's just after 9 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG again. Your time now for Fox News.
30 feet of rain on southeast Texas.
In Liberty, an hour northeast of Houston, blinding rains fell at a rate of 6 inches an hour at one point. Roads turned to rivers, with some taking it in stride, but the deluge eventually prompted hundreds of high water rescues across the region. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has declared a disaster in 13 of the hardest hit counties, some spots receiving more rain than Harvey. 38 inches near Beaumont, with another 3 or 4 anticipated through Friday.
Fox's Casey Stiegel. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says a 19-year-old man is drowned in the floodwater as Houston officials asking people to stay off the roads until those floodwaters recede. House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff says he cannot confirm a report that a whistleblower's complaint concerned a promise President Trump made on a phone call to a foreign leader But he said there is an effort to prevent this information from getting to Congress. The Intelligence Community's Inspector General was behind closed doors today, but did not tell the panel the substance of the complaint. President Trump called the story fake news. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention investigating the cause of the illnesses and deaths from using e-cigarettes. The number of sicknesses now jumping to 530, and now 8 people are confirmed dead.
The patients got their vaping products from multiple sources. Some of these patients are too ill to speak with investigators, and others are reluctant to discuss what exactly it was they were vaping. Typical symptoms include cough, shortness of breath, stomach problems, diarrhea, fever, and fatigue, and these symptoms can come on quickly after vaping.
Fox's Jonathan Seri. America is listening to Fox News.
Coast 360 introduces our new youth banking program. Give your kids and teens a head start with Kids 360 and Teen 360, a program designed to help your child develop smart financial habits and learn about money. Introduce them to banking and get them on a path towards a thriving financial future. Plus, new youth members get a special lunch tote just in time for back to school, while supplies last. Learn more at coast360fcu.com or visit your favorite member center. Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm a working mom and could really use more hours in my day. Thankfully, my non-electric Kinetico water treatment system has simplified my life. It's easier to clean my home with Kinetico conditioned water. No more scrubbing tubs or wiping water spots. Cleaners work better and last longer. And all the Kinetico drinking water we want is right here. No more lugging home bottled water. All this, and I'm saving money too, thanks to Kinetico.
American Water Tech, a passion for improving lives through better water.
As the gun control debate continues on Capitol Hill, a gun manufacturer suspends production of a popular firearm.
Semi-automatic rifles have been used in several mass shootings. Now gun maker Colt is suspending production of civilian models of its popular AR-15. Colt's chief executive says the move is not permanent, adding that the company will concentrate on fulfilling military and law enforcement contracts, which are absorbing manufacturing capacity. The company says it remains committed to the Second Amendment and that there are adequate supplies of sporting rifles on the market to get consumers through the shutdown. Many gun rights advocates have criticized Colt in the past for moving away from the civilian market. Kevin Battle, Fox News.
A Google affiliate teams up with a pharmacy chain for drone deliveries.
Need aspirin and don't have time to pick some up? If you live in Christiansburg, Virginia, Walgreens has you covered. The drugstore chain and Wing Aviation, a subsidiary of Google's parent Alphabet, are joining forces in testing drone deliveries that can put products on customers' doorsteps in a matter of minutes after being ordered. Snacks as well as cold and cough remedies, but not prescriptions, will be delivered in Christiansburg starting next month by a 10-pound drone flying as fast as 70 miles per hour. Back in April, Wing received federal approval to make commercial drone deliveries, marking the first time a company has received drone delivery certification. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Chuck Yeager, the retired Air Force pilot who broke the sound barrier in 1947, is suing Airbus, accusing the company of using his name and likeness without permission to promote a new high-speed helicopter. Yeager, who is 96, objects to a June 2017 piece on Airbus's website. The piece quoted the company's current CEO as saying, 70 years ago, Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier, and Airbus was now trying to break the cost barrier. It cannot be speed at any cost. Yeager is seeking unspecified damages. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
This Saturday, September 21st, citizens of over 91 countries will come together to participate in the annual International Coastal Cleanup event. Guam needs your help. Recruit friends and family to assist this Saturday as we remove litter from our beaches and waterways. With over 24 cleanup sites island-wide, anyone can help. For more details, visit the Guam Coastal Management Program on Facebook or call 475-9647. Brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the Bureau of Statistics and Plans.
Oh, big weekend ahead for those guys. Make sure that is part of your plan, just to go and go drive around, and when you hit a beach with a crowd there, just join them. Somebody will hand you gloves and all of the things that you need to get started with it, and you can help pull on that piece of rope and keep the island clean. The other part of it is we like to use that to get data and information about what it is that people are discarding and the ways they are discarding it. So it's not just picking up trash; it's also keeping track of that trash and see whether there's been a decline in one kind of trash or an increase in another. 9:06 in the morning, and it's shared worldwide, virtually worldwide, wherever there's someplace. I said share. So we play share. Anyway, 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines. APL they've got a global presence with a local home. And if you've got something worth insuring, then it's worth getting insurance and saving money on. Nambo Insurance has a bundle-up plan, and so the more you insure with them, the more you can save on your insurance. Give them a ring over at Nambo's Insurance, and they'll tell you how to do that. Actually, it's Nambo Insurance. And looking for the number here, 477-9754. And one last one here from my friends over at Wendy's. They've got nobody does bacon better than Wendy's. I think practically every meal that you can get over at Wendy's has bacon in it, or it should, including the bacon and jalapeno cheeseburger. Now, they could have given it a fancy name, spicy down the hatch or whatever, and they said, forget that, it just take longer to order. So next time you hit the drive-thru, just say bacon, jalapeno, cheeseburger. They'll know what you want. Get the meal, get some fries, and soda pop with that. 7 after 9, the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 of The Point.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7 after 9 o'clock in the morning is the Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. I'm finally going to get some medical attention around here. Rose Greeno from Take Care FHP is in the studio. And how you doing there?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
She heard that I was sick, and so she brought me some of this disinfectant or something like that. I'll just see how it tastes.
No, not in your mouth.
Oh. No,
it's a hand sanitizer.
For your hands.
For your hands.
I needed this last week. Yeah. Because based on where I think I am with this cold, I needed this last week.
Yeah, so keep that handy with you.
I intend to keep it with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, this tastes like hell. So not for the mouth. You put this in, not for ingesting. I guess you just warm your head. See, I like this one because so there's people that are hand sanitizer snobs, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I'm one of them. I like the hand sanitizer that goes on, cleans your hand, and then it goes away. Because you ever get the ones and it's got this like a residue that stays with you all day? Yeah. I don't like that one. That one's not good. I'm not big on the perfumey ones or the ones with the little beads on the inside of it.
Those are the fancy ones.
Yeah.
That's straight alcohol, and I'm not promoting the
No, that's all right. That's all right. But she's just promoting the idea of
hand sanitizer, because you don't have you don't wash you're in a studio, so you don't always have easy access to go wash your hands. The recommendation is you always wash your hands. So we're talking really now flu prevention.
And we'll get around to doing that. Mm-hmm. What's the efficacy, the difference in the efficacy of using a hand sanitizer versus just soap and water?
Well, we recommend really soap and water.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But, when soap and water is not easily accessible, then you put a hand sanitizer. Yeah. The key there is you rub your hands with it and let it dry after.
Okay, all right. So, because you might be curious, because there are people that are going, oh, it's better than soap and water. But most of the medical professionals I've talked to say, if you've got a choice, go with the soap and water.
Yeah, you know the saying, the hand washing is your universal precaution. That's where it comes from. Always hand washing. I
try to live that as my dream. But you can get sick any 100 different ways. You can get sick by breathing sick people air, and no amount of hand sanitizer or soap and water is going to help you with that. So are we in flu season now?
Yeah, it's coming out. We see some of the cases already that's coming in. So, in Guam, usually flu season normally it's October, late October up to like February, right? But in Guam, we see this earlier.
Now, do I have the flu?
Well,
is that what you think this might be?
Flu symptoms can include cough. Do you have that?
Oh, yeah. I coughed this morning.
Sore throat?
Had it, yeah.
Runny nose or stuffy nose?
Got it.
Muscle body aches?
No, I don't have that.
Okay. Headaches?
I never get headaches.
Are you feeling fatigued or tired?
I was a little bit dizzy yesterday.
Yeah.
And that almost never happens.
Fever? Feeling like fever?
Well, you took she didn't take my temperature. She did the mom thing and put her hand on my forehead.
You're a little bit warm.
A little warm.
Yeah,
okay.
You're warm. So we can't really tell. And sometimes, people with with flu have diarrhea or vomiting. That's most common in children.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, and then we have to think about not all flu have fever.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it's possible I might be a candidate. Now, if I am presenting, if I went to take care today and presented with this, what would the doctor's likely course be?
So they'll advise you. They're gonna look into, of course, they're gonna examine you. They're gonna listen to your lungs. You might be developing like upper respiratory infection aside from the flu, and they're gonna ask you how long you have.
It slowed me down when I went running last night. So I went down and I was running in 2 months. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's a guy thing." So I wasn't originally going to go, but a buddy of mine reminded me that we're going to go do some running in 2 months last night. And I said, "Okay, that sounds like fun." And I'll go and sweat this thing out. There's no such thing as sweating it out, is there?
Because remember, your body is fighting. Developing kind of infection right now, or and then you went exerted more efforts. And you noticed last night you must have stopped and caught your breath, right?
Yeah, a couple of times. My cardio
so it's not your normal
wasn't
self.
with me. Yeah,
it's not your normal self. So that's the reason why that it's really important to know your body. So with that, we need. That's why I told you.
I was so tired after I had to drink 6 beers.
You need your body to recuperate from this,
right?
What you're dealing right now.
Okay, so I'm
not to exert more effort than running.
So your recommending suggestion now is what? Do I need antibiotics, or is it too late for the antibiotics to run its course in my system and free me from this flu?
Yeah. Well, I'm giving right now.
The flu's a virus, so antibiotics aren't going to work on it anyway.
No. So what your CDC actually recommend 3 steps to fight the flu, right? So first of all, the reason why I'm here is really flu vaccine. Right?
Yes.
I'll give you your flu vaccine when you're feeling better, not today.
Because I asked for that. I said, if we're going to talk about, getting their flu shots and stuff like that, let me be the first, come by and do that. But since I'm already infected with something,
I will not give it to you. Until you're better, then you can come by. I'm happy to give it to you in the clinic.
But if this is the flu, then I'm probably not going to get this version again.
No, but there's so many viruses that causes flu.
Oh, so I could get a different flu down the road.
Yeah. So that's the reason why we recommend to have a flu vaccine, because the virus that's in the flu right now is the one that's the most common virus that causes the flu. So CDC studied that what is the most common. So that's what we put in this vaccine.
So you can get this one by, and control the way you receive it. And then that will set the stage now for immunity from that strain of the flu down the road. That particular one. Yeah. And hopefully it's the one that's going to be the mass flu that's floating around. It changes every year, doesn't it?
It changes every year. But CDC has been really doing a surveillance and monitoring, so they have the virus that they put right now is the same as last year, but it's an updated one.
Okay.
Yeah. So they look at what is the most common virus that causes the flu.
How do they do that?
CDC works that.
I was going to say, what's the science behind that?
Yeah, because we want to know what is the strain of virus, the most common one, and the most prevalent, and the most that causes the patient to get really sick. So that's one they put in the vaccine. So that's the work.
There's so much for people to be worried about these days. We got the dengue thing that's floating around here, and you watching your clients come in to take care in the clinic and checking them to see you get. Are we asking now the doctors? Are we asking now? Have you been bitten by mosquitoes recently?
Yeah, and
because the symptoms are similar.
Yeah, we also before one of our even up to now we always ask you, do you have a travel history? Have you been exposed to the place when they have an outbreak? But for you, Ray, your particular question, the only way we find out about what virus that causes your flu symptom is to have a nasal swab. When we do that, the clinics can do that.
Okay,
you swab it in your nose and run a rapid test. And we can find out if it's an influenza A or what kind of virus.
So we're recommending now that people get their flu shots.
Yes.
Okay, so you can go to Take Care and get your flu shot?
So we have a flu shots. This is our annual thing. We have a flu clinic tomorrow at the FHP clinic. It's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we really encourage, our members, even non-members, to come and get your flu vaccination. So, as what I mentioned earlier, there's a 3 steps the approach to fight the flu, and the number one of that is really important step is to protect yourself through vaccination. Not only yourself, but the people around you and your kids. So,
especially the kids, because the kids are exposed to other kids in the schools, and that's how things spread around here most of the time in this town.
The back to school season, a lot of colds and flus and that one.
Well,
So,
there's Blake next door and his kid, he got called to take care of the kid. 102 degrees, so we had to fly out of the radio station to go and do all of that stuff.
So we have that one.
And so I'm wondering how many other kids in the daycare were also coming in with 102 degree fever, something like that. So we'll watch that spread.
Think about that, because the flu is spread to the droplets. So when you sneeze at me and you're sharing your the virus, so if I inhale that, other people, I would be able to catch that flu. Or if you wipe your nose, or you cough yourself and using your hands, and then you shake somebody else, and that one.
That's why everybody wants me to leave at 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm going to follow up with everybody's best intentions.
So the next one is really, of course, try to avoid the contact with people. If you're sick, we recommend you to stay home and recover. Cover your nose and mouth.
I'm going out tonight. I'm going to feel better after my nap, so I'm going out tonight.
Cover your nose and mouth with tissues when you cough and sneeze. You wash your hands often. So if soap and water is not available, as I mentioned, alcohol-based hand rub, that's one I'm giving you, not to spray in your face.
Right.
Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Germs spread this way with that. And then, of course, clean and disinfect surface area that you may feel like you have contaminated by the germs of the flu.
Well, it's surface areas and things like that. So after I'm over this, then I probably need to go and clean around the house and doorknobs and things like that I touch on a regular basis that might still have the germs on them.
Yes. Yeah. And then the other thing is, of course, increase your take vitamin C, lots of fluids, and of course, I know you're a very busy man.
Beer is a fluid.
It's not beer. Water.
Have you noticed in the last couple of days I've had all these medical professionals in here telling me, you probably shouldn't drink so much beer and alcohol and caffeine and soda pop and all of that stuff. I'm just,
now you know why I don't go to the doctor.
That's exactly right. Just go to the. So my favorite one is if they do give me something for like pain, and I'll take a look at it, and I only want the drug that says avoid taking with alcohol, not the one that says don't take with alcohol, because that sounds like that's a hard line. So give me the one that says avoid it. Because avoid sounds like there's some wiggle room in there. You know what I mean?
No, but water therapy is still the best.
Water therapy.
Yeah.
Well, I've been trying to do more
That's
of that.
What I saw
I've been trying to do more of that. I've downed about 8 ounces of water so far. I'm going to try to get a little bit more in me and to flush it out of the system.
Yeah.
Now, that's a real thing, right? Sweating it out is not a real thing, but flushing it out of your system is.
Yeah, and also eat your vegetables and your lots of vitamin C.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, are there differences in the way that men get flus and women get flus? Because I know some women, they get the flu and they can still go to work and take care of the kids and cook and clean and function like perfectly normal human beings. But when I get sick, all I want to do is sit in the couch in a fetal position and make somebody bring me soup and change the channel and read to me.
Yeah, but most of the women, as if you notice, they're moms.
Yeah.
The priority is to do all these other things.
Yeah.
Take care of the kids, take care of the husband.
And dads are just big kids at the end of the day. Is your husband like that? So when he gets a flu, does he turn into like the biggest baby there ever was?
No, but he gets all the TLC.
Okay, also important. So that's a factor here. So that's the way it works. If you are a woman associated with a man who currently has the flu right now, TLC. That's doctor's orders from Rose Greeno and the people over at Take Care. So as you said, go and get yourself vaccinated. If you are a Take Care member, just show up and say, I'm here for my shot.
Yes.
What
if you're
I'm
Take Care members, it's free for Take Care as their secondary insurance is $20, and then for self-pay non-Take Care is $25. Yeah,
all right, so
very
well within reach. Now, is this in conjunction with, say, public health and others like that? Will there be other organizations like public health conducting flu shot program?
They usually do that, but I don't have of this now information. But at FHP Clinic and Take Care, we always do this annually as soon as we receive our vaccines. So it's really prevention is really what we're trying to promote in there. So the number one step of for minimizing the flu sickness or prevent flu is vaccination.
So I'm a generally funny, madcap, zany kind of guy, and so I'll always try to tell you stories and hit you with facts, but in a kind of a humorous way. But there is a very serious undertone, and one of the reasons why we take all of these measures, preventative and prophylactic measures to prevent the spread of the flu, is there have been flus that have killed people in the millions in the past.
Yes, it is.
100 years ago.
Yeah, there is. So flu can be very serious, and then what we're trying to do is to avoid the serious complications of flu, like pneumonia, especially the very young children, and then all elderly, and to all those other people that are, the immunocompromised.
What was it? Mike, do you have the number on the top of your head? How many people died as a result of the Spanish flu 100 years ago?
Yeah, we have.
It used to be huge. I remember the big concerns that we had about the bird flu around here.
Bird flu, yeah.
To this day, most airports that you fly into will have a scanning device on you to check your temperature. Yeah. So I always try to warm up.
Remember the H1N1 scare?
Vividly.
Yeah.
Vividly.
So this
between the bird flu and H1N1, how many tourists stopped coming to Guam because they were just freaked out about traveling?
So this flu vaccine has a strain of that, of the H1N1.
Yeah, Spanish flu infected 500 million people and killed about 20 to 50 million of them.
Yeah.
So including 675,000 Americans.
Actually, I got that during the 2016-2017 season, vaccine prevented 5.3 million illnesses and 2.6 million medical visits and 85,000 influenza-associated hospitalization. So we prevented that in 2016 to 2017. Remember that, like the big hit of flu during that time.
Oh, I remember stories last year about the countless numbers of young people that died. Kids were dying from the flu last year. So it's it's an inexpensive prevention and a great opportunity to do it with friends. Insider Health has got a story. Bill Gates warned that a devastating quirk of nature could, where's the headline? Could kill 30 million people in less than a year. Experts say we're still not doing enough to prepare for these kinds of things. 50 million people. There was another story I was looking at a second ago with another one of those real scary outbreak headlines. Outbreak of flu could kill millions of people and spread in less than 3 days, 36 hours. You could have an outbreak, and with modern
talking, sneezing,
flying,
coughing.
With transportation, flu, the same very efficient transportation hubs that we have will turn into very sophisticated and efficient flu distribution hubs, and it will be around the world in just no time flat. 9:20. Can I talk to you about something else while I got you here?
Sure.
Oh God, where's he going with this? No, it's another take care thing. I got.
I'm FHP, right?
It's the same company, isn't it?
Yeah, but I have to handle the clinic portion.
Yeah, I know, but it's it's the whole Take Care FHP family is the way I look at it, right? Okay.
We're the healthcare. I'm responsible in the healthcare delivery side.
Okay, so can you tell me about the Save the Susu thing that you guys have got coming up on the Take Care side? See, that's why I said I can get this from you. So Save the Susu, October the 19th.
Yes, absolutely.
Is coming up. Teens in High School. My friend Marissa Collins is going to be helping among those kind of dancing fitness instructors.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing that. Mention that October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
I intend to wear pink something every day.
Yeah.
But
so are you going to be doing the Men Wear Pink challenge?
Yes, because I'm in charge of my own laundry, and I can't tell you how many pink shirts I have and pink underwear. It used to be white, but I don't know. I washed them with something that wasn't color fast, and now I've got a variety of pink clothes. But I've got a nice pink shirt that I like to wear.
Yes, we would be happy to have you over there and be part of the event. So October 1st.
Look, any event that has the word Susu in it, I'm down. Just whatever. The answer for me will be yes. Dance, fitness, breast cancer fundraiser. It'll be the 19th, 10 o'clock. $10 gets you in. If you buy now, and you get a free water bottle or a bottle of water, and then if you can buy them on the day of, but it will cost you more. So we suggest you get in. And you're working with your partners over at United.
Yes,
I understand
and
there's
a lot of prizes that's coming out. So please support and join. And also, in the same token, I want to really call on our, the women out there, especially over 40 years old, to do their mammogram screening.
Okay, I don't know anything about it except it sounds painful.
No, it's not painful.
It's not, okay, all right.
It's not painful.
It's just... one of those things.
Cancer screening it's really very important.
Well, whatever if there's going to be something to do with cancer in the month of October, I generally find a way to support one way or the other. And Marissa came to me and asked me if I could help out with some publicity. I'm like, yes, I got to do that because there's so many incredible women in my life, and unfortunately, I've had cancer at the house, as you know, and it never ends well. You can fight and fight and fight, and sometimes you win, and sometimes you don't. And when you don't, it's just terrible to watch somebody deteriorate the way that the cancer can do that. If you can save somebody that pain, I think it'd be a real good thing. When does the flu shots thing start?
Flu shot starts, it's actually tomorrow, Saturday. That's going to be the FHP from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come by and encourage for the parents to bring the immunization card of their kids.
What do I? Okay, so immunization card for the kid. What about me? Just show up if it's
show
just
up.
Me?
Yeah, if you have your immunization card, we would be happy to update that for you.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'll ask my mom where my immunization card is. I have no idea where that is. I know I didn't have one last year. How's that? So I don't know. You didn't show up last year.
You should do an annual flu vaccine.
They tell me that. I should probably pay my taxes too.
Yeah, and also, Ray, as a registered nurse, I also encourage my fellow healthcare workers because we care for this patient, and we also encourage and challenge our colleagues in the healthcare professionals to get their flu shots as well.
Absolutely, because if you're not there to take care of us, who's going to take care of us?
Absolutely,
we need the nurses to do all of that stuff. 9:27 in the morning. Thanks for coming by.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Always nice to see
and
you.
you're welcome to come by to the clinic at FHP anytime.
Well, I'm just happy because every time I see Rose, she gives me something. So today, the something is hand sanitizer. Apparently, not to be taken through the mouth. You spray it on your hand. Forms a protective barrier that lasts up to 5 hours. This could be good. Does this keep politicians away for 5 hours too?
That I don't know, but again, I just encourage everyone tomorrow. Please come by at FHP Clinic by the ITC intersection to get your flu shots free for Take Care members, $20 for your Take Care as your secondary insurance, and $25 for a non-Take Care members.
All right, and I won't be there tomorrow because I'm probably still going to have this cough, and I don't want to spread it any further than I have to. 9:28 in the morning, we'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect. Ask them, they've got something new going on because it's tax refund season. Everybody's got a tax refund, and if you're wondering what to do with it, get an annual plan at iConnect, and what they'll do is they'll give you a phone. Here's the phone, and give you a free month of service on that. And there might be some other conditions that apply, so call them up at 888-8888.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. GTA, we start with you.
9:30 in the morning, and they're celebrating 30 years of eating fresh over at Subway. I'm celebrating as well, and I've told you the story countless times of the way we used to rush from Agana all the way up to Jigo because that was the only Subway store that they had on Guam, and now they're up to like 15 of them. So rush to a Subway near you this weekend. Buy one, get one free events are going on at Anderson Air Force Base Exchange, Manila, and Nextcom Building number 258. Help them celebrate 30 years of making it what you want.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agana at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Magallanes online asking, Ray, did you see the governor last night at the UOG extension event? I know that she was there, but she didn't make her way to where I was, and you know where I was last night. So she didn't make her way into that part, but yeah, I did know that she was at the UOG extension event. I wish I'd had more information about what was going on at the UOG extension event. I was there kind of on a lark last night, and wanted to say hello to a couple of people that I knew were going to be there, but it looked like it was a great event talking about all kinds of opportunities that we're beginning to have in agriculture here on Guam. I've always been interested in what people can grow around here and the way that we can sustain ourselves. And like I said, I wish I'd have known about that a little bit. Exactly. Yes. I'm one of the, I told you about this earlier in the week, right? I ran into somebody, and she introduced me to the concept of the 100-mile diet. And being the Cro-Magnon that I am, I had no idea. What is a 100-mile diet? Do you know what it is?
No clue.
See, okay, so now I don't feel so bad. So we basically got two cavemen in here that aren't paying attention to anything other than football and you know, chicks and sports. So the 100-mile diet is where you try to eat foodstuffs that can be acquired within 100 miles. So, like cans of Spam would not count because it's not made within 100 miles from around here. You go hunting for deer and pig, or fishing out of the ocean here, that would count as the 100-mile diet because it comes from, like I said, around here. And you start looking around at some of the things that people are doing. You got microgreens. The Chrysostemo girls are doing incredible things with microgreens. And there's all kinds of other people. You know, you got what's his name, the old man Wistig that with the sweet corn. Have you ever had that?
No, not yet.
Oh, all right, guys, do me a favor. The next time that you see the sweet corn guy up on Route 16, let me know. I'll go and I'll buy you $10 worth of corn from this guy. It'll be like 20 stalks or something like that. And it's great corn. I mean, it's grown right here on Guam. I mean, the guy's been doing this for a dozen years, and it seems to me that it gets sweeter and more mammoth sweeter every time I try it. The only problem that I have, and somebody posted this up on Facebook, and I'm going, God, that rings so true. Whenever I see him on Route 16, he usually parks right in front of the Garden Readiness Center across from the post office. And whenever I see him, I'm either going in the wrong direction, or I don't. If I'm going in the right direction, I don't have money. And the sad thing is, if I just asked him, you know, for a couple of years of corn, he'd probably give them to me, right? Because he's just a sweet old guy. But the fact of the matter is, you'll want to pay him for it, and then you'll want to know every single time he's at. There should be an app. It should show up on an app. You ought to get a notice, you know, push message. Old man Wistig selling sweet corn on Route 16, and you go and get him. So that's an example of being able to maintain a diet just of things that are grown around here or available around here. And so, like I said, it was would have been nice to know a little bit more about what was going on. Next year, Rudy, make sure that I get some information early on about that, because it's something that I'd like to encourage. I'm one of those guys, because I read a book years ago called 30 Seconds After, which is the second scariest book I've ever read in my life. The scariest book I ever read in my life was What to Expect When You're Expecting. And there's a whole section in that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, about all of the creepy things that can happen to babies. Yeah. You know, born without, you know, the heart's outside the body or something like that. And just all these creepy things that can go on. And I thought, I'm never, ever, ever going to pick up that section of the book again. Just rip it out. I never want to see it again. That will lead you to prayer. That will take the even the most the worst of the non-believers and point you in the direction of prayer. But the scariest book I ever read was called 30 Seconds After. And it is a story about, and they never really get around to finding out, somebody lights off a nuke high above the atmosphere over the United States of America, and the ensuing EMP blast knocks out every transistor across the country. Wow. And annihilates transportation and you know, communications and things like that. Right. Yeah. And basically means that the trucks aren't rolling with the you know, fruits and vegetables and meats from someplace else. The planes aren't flying with them. The ships aren't going around.
No train.
How do you eat? Yeah. And I worry about that, because so much of what we eat around here is necessarily imported. What happens if the ships stop coming? What happens when the planes aren't flying? How are 165,000 of us going to eat?
by eating the weaker of the 160,000.
Yeah, that's in the book, too. That's in the book, too. The first thing is the very young and the very old and the very sick, 30% of the population dead in 2 weeks. You know, figure out, the diabetics. Thank God you've got insulin today. What happens when you can't refrigerate it anymore? What happens when it runs out? What then? You know what happens then? You die is what happens. You lugging around maybe another 50 or 100 extra pounds. That's not a crash diet that you're going to go on, and you're going to have to find a way. You'll be going from a sedentary lifestyle to one where you have to work to eat.
Yeah, you have to get out there and forage.
Now, the word heart attack is going to take on a very literal meaning. So that, like I said, among the scarier things that I've read in my life, and it makes me think about, like I said, how we're going to feed 165,000 of us. Just so much breadfruit on the trees, just so many bananas hanging off of them, and all of that kind of thing. So stuff. That's why I always say, if you can't, start putting stuff away. Everybody needs to have a go-to bag, and everybody needs to have a stash somewhere of food that can keep you going for a while. MREs. If you listen sometimes coast to coast in the middle of the night, if you listen to that show every once in a while, you'll hear from these companies that want to sell you. Get them like a subscription. They will send you a box, and in that box are meals ready to eat, easy to prepare. High-density calories in it that will keep you going, and water that will keep you going for week 2. So you get into these subscription plans and you build up a stock of it, and then you buy several guns to protect them. Because in that zombie apocalypse that we're talking about, if people know that you've got a stash of food, you've got a cache of water, guess what? They will do whatever it takes to get from you to them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, apocalyptic thoughts. So, see what you got me into, Rudy? See, just from there. Nice seeing you last night, Ray. Did you see the governor? From there, we get me into the zombie apocalypse conversation. 9:38, but it's a fun conversation if you really, 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 really want to get into it. Yeah, there's my excuse. I'm sick. I'm easily distracted as just normally, but even more so when I probably had more Dayquil in my system running around in the last week than I've had in forever. Sandra De Leon Guerrero says, better hunt and fish. What's the name of the lady? Jane Dia. Yeah. So when the apocalypse strikes, when the bright flash goes off, I'm going to find her because she knows how to hunt meat in the boondocks, and she knows how to dress it out in the boondocks. So I need to learn about that. Push that sustainable lifestyle, Daddy. That's what she's saying. 9:38 in the morning. Let me get past that here and move into a couple of other things that I think are interesting. Excuse me. Where are you now on the? Do we build a new power plant on Route 3, or do we not build a new power plant?
I just think it's a horrible location to put it. Right there in front of the mall, all the tourists are going to be presented with this egregious power plant.
We'll put up some trees or something. We'll hide it with some shrubberies. That's what we'll do. We'll have shrubberies out there. I don't know what the thing is going to look like. I don't know if we still have to make them look like big industrial complexes.
Yeah, you pretty much do. I mean, you're cranking up a lot of power.
Yeah, but I'm saying go by Kmart. There is a substation over at Kmart. And unless they've got the gate open, you generally can't tell that there is all of this electromechanical stuff behind the scenes.
Right,
and there's a couple of other places.
But we understand a substation's a little different than an actual generation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, yeah,
so remind me the next time I get Simon on the line. Remind me the next time, what is this going to look like? I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to anticipate. Maybe it's going to be far enough off the roadway. But among the other issues that people have got with, there's a whole petition of people that don't want us to build a new electric plant on Guam. Have you seen the petition? Have you signed it? I'm generally not a fan of that kind of thing. I'm not sure that that's the way to address this situation. What you might want to do is... Sorry, I'm reading comments. I'm going to get distracted again. What you might want to do is show up in a couple of days to some PUC meetings. There is a notice in today's news before the Guam Public Utilities Commission, the application of the Guam Power Authority to approve the energy conversion agreement with KEPCO for the 190-megawatt power plant. There is going to be notice is hereby given, it says. The Guam Public Utilities Commission will conduct a public hearing on GPA's petition for the approval of the energy conversion agreement with Korean Electric Power Company for the construction and operation of the new 198-megawatt power plant. Public hearing will commence at 6:30 p.m. on October the 1st, 2019. This will take place in the GCIC building in Agana. All right, and that's number one. They are going to have a public hearing, and the Public Utilities Commission wants to hear from you one way or the other. Now, you know that the guys in the commission, GPA guys, are going to get up there and talk about it and say why they think it's a great idea. I anticipate that there are going to be some guys that will disagree with what Simon and the other commissioners have to say. And it might even be you. So that's your notice. That's when it's going to be. And if that's not enough, the Public Utilities Commission will also be taking the show on the road. So if you've got some thoughts on this and you cannot make it to the meeting on October the 1st, there'll be another one October the 2nd at the Day-to-Do Senior Citizen Center. And for those of you, San Jose, down south, you can also go to the Agate Community Center on the following evening at 6:30. So October the 1st, GCIC building, the 2nd at the Dededo Senior Citizen Center, and the 3rd at the Agate Community Center. At all of them are going to take place at 6:30. I'd prefer that, show up at these things and say what you got to say. Petitions are wonderful things, but having seen a lot of petitions and that for issues that I've supported that have gone absolutely nowhere. I just don't put a lot of faith in them. You can go poetry slam if you want to, but I don't know that the people that need to hear those things are going to be paying attention to your poetry slamming. Ken LG's on the line, says substation receives power but doesn't generate. Thank you very much. I know that. I'm just saying they put a nice facade on the one that they've got in downtown Tamuning. And it is the best-looking thing out there, especially considering that it is right next to and across from the god-awful, butt-ugly chain-link fence that Josh Tenorio says they have a plan to remove but haven't done yet. Smug Wimp says, heck, make an attraction, have a tour. Hey, come and visit our power plant. Ken LG says, we will need 160-foot tall shrubs. I can't believe them. So it's Friday. Why the frowny faces on building a power plant? And yeah, maybe it's going to be up by the mall, and maybe it won't be the prettiest thing in the world. But is there a way? I mean, I'm sure there's. And no, I know there's a way. We're darn creative people. You've seen the budget, and you know we can be creative when we have to. So it's going to. There will be a stack of some kind, right? Does it have to be the obligatory, ugly steam smoke stack that comes out of is there a way that we can make a bong out of something so we can take all of the smoke and push it through like a bong thing, and then just we'd have residual but
make
cleaner.
Make it the world's tallest laddystone.
See, he's not even from here. What a great cultural reference, what a great cultural idea. And if we can't make it look like a laddie stone, we can paint it to look like a laddie stone. Yeah. Right? I'm just saying, there's no reason that we're going to have to live with the ugliness of it. Nick Perlosky, I was talking about that sustainable lifestyle. Nick Perlosky says, here, lizard. Don't eat the lizards. There needs to be a sign at the airport, just for fun. Just put it up there because Ray Gibson said so. Sign at the airport says, welcome to Guam. Please don't eat the geckos.
Yeah. I've got the perfect solution, bro.
What's that?
Paint the stack in camouflage. You won't see it.
It's true. There's just so many different ways that we can deliver this problem from the horns of defeat. Just got to take a couple of minutes and think about it. I implore you to take a couple of minutes and think about it as well. I'm not. How do I want to say this? I want to be careful how I present this story, and I'll tell you why. Because for the most part, I don't know jack about it. It involves Medicaid funding. But there's already people that are getting kind of excited about this. Man-made disaster is what they're referring to it. And my understanding from a quick read of a candid news story is that Mike Sinicolas is already on this. Governor Ralph De Leon Guerrero Torres up in Saipan joined the chief executives of Guam, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and American Samoa in calling for need-based Medicaid funding for fair and equal footing across the board. Torres joins all of the different governors in a letter to congressional leaders that called for fair, equitable health care coverage for territories similar to what is available in the 50 U.S. states and districts. Territorial governors cited the following advantages when Medicaid funding in the territories is fair. The elimination of the arbitrary cap on annual federal Medicaid funding. And I think our number is ridiculous, that I know. Increase the federal matching rate for the territory's Medicaid expenditures, update hospital reimbursements, and increase funding for prescription drug coverage to low-income seniors. Again, they're referring to this as a man-made disaster, and it looks like something needs to be done by Congress by a certain date. Otherwise, badness will happen. If Congress does not act before September 30th of 2019, enrollees may lose their Medicaid coverage and access to compensated care aimed at treating life-threatening diseases and conditions and preventing needless deaths. According to this letter, it is our hope that Congress will work with the U.S. territories to reverse course and resolve the Medicaid funding cliff. Failure to do so will constitute a man-made disaster and a blot on the human rights records of the United States. We don't want that. Letter took note of the recovering Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, which were hit by Hurricanes Irma and Maria. It also took note of Super Typhoon U2, which struck the CNMI late October of 2018. Referring to U2 as the strongest storm to hit American soil in over 30 years. Losing their medical insurance is the last thing our vulnerable population needs as they face the ongoing impact of these violent storms on local economies and on their physical and mental health. So looks like some work needs to get done. As usual, it's last minute, and congressional attention is going to be required. We know how Congress moves. So you could only hope that Mike St. Nicholas has already started the process of rounding up all of the usual suspects and getting support for some of these exemptions and things like that we're looking for, or at least parity with what brothers and sisters, also Chamorros, that are living in the mainland, are currently enjoying. It's 9:48 in the morning. A couple of other items in the table of contents that might be of interest to you. Good news here. The 2 cases of dengue that were suspected yesterday turned out to be negative. The deal is keep cleaning, though. And that is a request not just to the government of Guam to keep doing what it is that they're doing. We need to make sure that we are doing what we need. I generally what's the word I'm looking for? See, I'm sick. I can't remember all my words. What's the deal? I'll remember it when I'm in a different thought pattern. I generally bristle. Bristle is the word. I generally bristle at the idea that the government likes to go, well, it's a community problem. Well, okay, the community pays our taxes. You fix it. You've got the resources. I'm just a guy, right? But in this case, it really is a community problem. I think that the 99% of the vector critters that are out there are probably getting a free ride on people that need to clean up their yards one way or the other. Probably got all kinds of things that are catching water, and that perfect breeding areas for the mosquitoes, maybe even the mosquitoes that are carrying this dengue fever. And I was looking at some of the things about dengue fever. Oh, okay, well, they all look like they're survivable, right? But they're not all survivable. Dengue fever can kill you. I'm told that there's hundreds of people in the Philippines that have already died from dengue fever.
Generally speaking, in the poorer parts of the country, they die because they can't get the medical attention they need in time. Usually what people do, and you know how we are, we'll wait a couple of days of feeling bad before we even start thinking about checking it out.
Yeah.
With dengue, that's a death sentence. As soon as you feel the symptoms for dengue, you need to get to the doctor, get to the hospital. It usually involves keeping a very close eye on your platelet count and getting you hydrated.
Yeah.
That's what kills people. So when they're not able to get that treatment.
So if you've got a fever, bed rest, keep an eye out for high fevers, especially with little kids. Prevent dehydration and prevent the spread of dengue inside the house once it gets in there. And it doesn't generally transfer from one person to another. Right. But, if somebody got bit around the house, then that means there's other mosquitoes around the house, and board up the windows and sleep under a net. Literally, sleep under a net to keep them away. As the fever goes away, and this is something that was floating around on WhatsApp that we had yesterday. As the fever goes away, continue to watch for warning signs. Although the fever is leaving your child or your patient, this phase of dengue can be most dangerous. Watch for warning signs as temperature declines 3 to 7 days after the initial symptoms begin to appear. Return immediately to the clinic or the emergency room if you or your patient starts feeling severe abdominal pain or vomiting, a lot of vomiting, red spots or patches on the skin, bleeding from the nose or gums, vomiting blood, or if you got blood in your poops, watch out for that as well. Drowsiness or irritability, pale, cold, or clammy skin, and difficulty breathing. This is kind of a rally for the dengue. It looks like it's going away, but it comes back, and it looks like it comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and the thing about it is it's confusing because what happens, when you break a fever, generally speaking, you feel better immediately. The main sign, and this is really important, is that once the fever is broken, if the patient still does not feel well, they probably have dengue, and they need to get to the doctor right then. That's really, that is like a super clue. If they don't feel better after the fever breaks, it's time to go
and see somebody. Emergency room, emergency. JG Timinglu asking this morning, where is that story you got regarding the Medicaid? You can find it. I got my copy in Saipan Tribune. There's actually a couple of stories that are Guam-based that are showing up in other places. This one here, Saipan, obviously the guys in the governors of all of our islands are already aware of this and are working towards some kind of a solution. But there are a couple of other stories that I thought were interesting because they involved Guam, but they weren't part of Guam Press. Inquirer.net from the Philippines with a story about Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez being appointed the H-2AB and visa waiver czar for Guam. That's made its way around to a little bit of international
some
press.
Russian music,
Right? There should be. We ought to appoint ourselves czar. We ought to. Is there some things that we can be czars of?
We can be the cannabis czars.
I want that job.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody needs to totally be the cannabis czar.
They've
got a committee. They've got a committee, but
they've got to pay at least 6 figures. Can you imagine what the workload is for the cannabis czar? Come on, man.
Right. 6 figures, lots of travel.
Try this strain.
No expectations of any results, right? Little expectations of any results.
No, I like that for you.
Anyway, so JG, take a look at SaipanTribune.com. We'll have that story. The other story that is getting a little bit of traction around the nation and the world, believe it or not, is this. We'll talk more about this on Monday. I've mentioned it a couple of times because I'm a techie and I'm into it. Is the story of eSIMs. eSIM technology and iConnect, the building next door, is going to be working with another one of these companies that are going to be coming in, and we will be among those that help roll out the concept of eSIMs here on Guam. Now, right now, you probably don't have anything that has an eSIM. But the technology is there. It's just like a SIM chip that's already embedded in the device, and it'll have a little radio attached to it, and it will just start scanning the airwaves, looking for a cellular carrier. And the idea is it will almost democratize the process. And your phone will have it. Internet of Things items are going to have this. Your car is probably going to get one of these eSIMs embedded into it before too much longer. And the idea is to make it that much easier for you to select a carrier to do business with. Who's going to do the internet? Who's going to bring internet to my car? And so you will be able to do that without having to take your car someplace or call somebody up on the phone or do any of it. Just present you with a list of things, and you go, I like that guy, click it, and then bang, you're automatically subscribed.
Which sounds like this is going to be the end of phones being locked to certain carriers when you buy them.
Yes, and now the carriers may not like that. But that's the way the technology is going to be going. So, like I said, a little bit more democratization in the process, and there could be a different level of competition as well for those different services. So it's going to be coming. And we'll talk with a couple of people about this in the coming days. But as I said, around the nation and the world, the fact that Guam, iConnect, and I forget the name of this company that they're going to be working with, are on it and working it. Rochelle Merrill says, Ray, for your cold, take this recipe. Comes from my grandmother at work, so I hope you feel better soon. Where's the recipe? Hi, Hafade. 9:55, Mike says I got to take a quick break. Okay, then.
Chili's Guam invites you to our new location, now open on the second floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. For the past 10 years, we have made Guam our home and celebrated moments with our familia and friends. From birthdays to first dates, anniversaries, and everything else in between. We're keeping it going with our new location where you can hang out with family and friends over fajitas, burgers, ribs, and margaritas. Treat yourself to an elevated guest experience at Chili's like no place else. Now open on the second floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's, new location, same bold flavors.
Half a day. Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Jade Uggan of Umatic, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanonmo. Protect your land. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his smile team.
They make smiles happen.
Everybody's heard about the bird. The bird, bird, bird.
Circle K has a 3-pound rotisserie chicken, now available for the introductory price of $9.99. It's the biggest, tastiest, and most affordable rotisserie chicken of its kind on island. Save even more by getting a family meal with 2 sides and a bottle of wine for only $25.99. The Circle K rotisserie chicken. Get yours today. Circle K. Take it easy.
Alacran is what Rocio is sending me the recipe for. Mix and mash up real well. Take half the recipe now and the rest before you go to bed. It's a spoon of red onion, finely chopped, 1 small garlic clove, finely chopped, a spoon of ginger, finely chopped, a little bit of lemon juice, and a spoonful of honey. Makes the medicine go down. Take that, and she says that's going to get me feeling just like my usual self in no time at all. Yeah. He's just,
it just sounds intense.
It does sound intense. It sounds stinky too. You know, it's the red onions and the garlic and
won't have to worry about
ginger.
vampires.
Yeah. What's the bachelor analog for this? And never mind. What's the grandma thing in here? It's like, I'm looking at it going, yeah, I can see the lemon juice and I can see the honey and maybe, I don't know, amaretto and a big